2009, the street magazine Asphalt on the west coast of Norway has been for sale for 5 weeks. When one of the salesmen says, "Jeg har ikke tatt meg en karamell siden jeg begynte å selge asfalt. I haven't taken a hit. I haven't taken a heroin dose." 5 weeks by his own choice. Many of you know how difficult it is to get somebody to make that choice voluntarily. Later, 2009, the fall, a girl, 10 years old, sent by her mother, and maybe father, to one of the courses in Forskerfabrikken. She was not very enthused by this because she wanted to become a model. And models usually don't experiment with those kind of things that Hanne provides. But when she left, she said, "I want to be a scientist. I want to do research." 2 small miracles at perhaps opposite ends of society. One with a lost youth, one with her whole life ahead of her. These are the kind of miracles that social entrepreneurs make, and these are the kind of miracles that we in Ferd try to make happen through the social entrepreneurs. You're also free to Twitter from this conference. I think the hashtag is Partnership for Change. It's a very long one, but in one word. These are our social entrepreneurs, all of them, 8 of them. And what we've done is quite unique. There's a lot of talk about how do you organize this. You can do it in a foundation or a stiftelse or whatever. We've done it simply as another business area. We simply put up a business area that's called Ferd Social Entrepreneurs. It has its own allocation, its own management, its own strategy. But what it doesn't have its own resources, because the resources are in all the other areas. And the companies, well, they're all over the world in many different businesses, from ski wax, Swix, to maritime broadband, pharmaceuticals, offshore. And I think, and I know, that when I heard about social entrepreneurship, it was like, wow, this is exactly, not kind of, exactly what we've been looking for. The match between us and the social entrepreneurs is ideal. And I actually read, the first definition I read was actually the one that Ashoka uses. This is ours. And I think the definition is important. You may have another, and I don't really care if you don't have the same as me. The question is, does it really help you to enable them to make an impact? That's the only thing I care about. There has to be some innovation to it. It has to be new. We had a lot of discussions with the unions in Norway. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. But then I will tell them, they usually tell them, well, you can't, this is not about the privatization, because you can't privatize something that doesn't exist. This is something new, something that complements what you're already doing. And they want to build something. They want to build an organization to make impact. It's actually a building. We talk about Selvåg, but this is building in a different sense. And they do it by using what somebody called a marketing approach. No, it's actually a business approach. It's actually doing exactly what business does with a different goal. To make a sustainable business that doesn't topple the organization. It has to go on, otherwise you let your people down. People, in many of these organizations, people start to depend on you. They start to rely on you. And if you screw up, you probably do it not because your social model is bad, but because your strategy is bad, because you can't show that you're creating value. You can't really measure your results. So you have to become professional about it. We have 8 I don't have time to go through them all. Within many different areas. You mentioned somebody listened to Torkel Sonne. There is one in Norway actually. It's called Unicus, and they are doing exactly what he's doing. They're working for Telenor actually, looking through their software. So if you get Canal Digital on your television, it's because they have found the errors that made it possible for you to get those channels. We have 8, and it's actually a portfolio. And in portfolio, everybody knows what happens. Something doesn't work out. And that is something that we rarely talk about here. But some of these will fail. And we actually had one huge crash and burn. Well, not huge crash and burn. We had somebody who failed last year. And that is something we have to get used to. Because if you think that every social idea can be made into a social entrepreneur, you're wrong. Most of these ideas have been thought of elsewhere, have been tried elsewhere, and if they didn't work elsewhere, well, it doesn't mean that it can't work here, but it means that you should be very careful in finding out why it didn't work elsewhere. So why is social entrepreneurs relevant to us? What makes it so special? I think from the outset, if you want to engage the entrepreneur or your company, your owners, your shareholders, who probably from the outset have a slightly different return objective than what you would get through social entrepreneurs. They probably want you to reach a financial target. So you have to get them on board. And the easiest way to get them on board is to make them understand that the vision that you have, the values that you have, doesn't limit you to engage in only pure commercial related activities. If you have a vision, and we do have a vision, that actually broadens our perspective in how we can engage, and that is very, very important. Impact. What we do in all other businesses is actually what we're doing with the social entrepreneurs. We're trying to find a good idea that seems to be working, not necessarily proven all the way. We put together a good management team. We don't necessarily allow the entrepreneur to run with the idea on his or her own. We build something around them so they can provide the idealism, the hope. And we build a strategy, and we engage in actually making that strategy happen. Relevance. Are you relevant to the social entrepreneur, to the organization that you engage with? Do you matter especially? Yes. We think that we at least we provide additionality, something that they couldn't have gotten elsewhere. And maybe even for those of you who are into sort of social studies, maybe even Pareto optimality, which means that we are the ideal, the ultimate partner for them. At least that's our hope. We have a set of values in our company. I think all companies have values now, but how do you actually exemplify how you make value choices? How do you make it obvious that these are the values that we stand for? By taking a stance, by taking engagement, by trying to help the social entrepreneurs succeed, we are showing not only what we stand for in other ways, but also we're showing that for Ferd, being a part of society and helping other parts of society succeed is equally important. And from a more perhaps personal point of view, I have 2 daughters who will become filthy rich at a much too early age. And what will they do with their money? I hope they will keep on running Ferd, but it also gives them options. What could I actually do with my ownership? What could I do with the company? What can the company do? There are additional strategies for this company in the future. They will perhaps think of something completely different. And what do we actually provide them? Yes, we do provide money. It is perhaps not the most important thing, but it is very helpful. It's not money that we invest in the normal sense. It's soft loans. guarantees, and in some cases, yes, we actually just pay out the cash quickly to make things happen. We don't expect to get the soft loans back. We expect the guarantees to be used fully, but often they're not. Competence, that is the most important thing. It's actually quite easy to give money away if you have enough of it. That's maybe sound a little arrogant, but it is in a practical sense. It's quite easy. It's how do you transfer the competence that we have onto the social entrepreneurs? And it's based on what you can ask Hanne or others whether it actually works, and we do think it works, and it's what they need. I think Abal is here as well. And it seems like they're really searching for a solution. They're searching for a manual, in a sense, a manual that they never had. And we try to be that manual. So there's a Ferd employee, or from Elopak or Able or any of the other business areas or companies. They are sitting at least one, in some cases two, on each board. And they provide ongoing consulting. They're like a free McKinsey every day and sometimes night. And there's also a shoulder there for somebody to cry on if needed. And we do provide network. And this is a real network. I mean, we will bang on any door and we will open most of them. Actually, it's kind of strange. It's actually much easier for me to get through doors together with a social entrepreneur than it is together with, trying to get a project through or, company, some kind of position. No, it's very tough for anybody to actually say no to a social entrepreneur, at least up until now. And it's all in order to scale. Scale, 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 scale. If it can't be scaled, then, well, it may still be good, but scaling is very, very important. And time is of the essence. In business, we're always impatient. We're always in a hurry, and social entrepreneurs should as well. What do we get? And I always get this question, and I'm actually a little bit tired of it because it should be obvious. I could tell you so many stories that would make you cry, that would make you laugh, and they are the stories that become part of us. But I'm here to talk about what do the employees get? What do I get as an owner, as a CEO? I get employees with a different mindset, a different perspective on life, a broader set of problem-solving skills. These are people that they would never ever meet, and certainly the kids or the drug addicts, whatever, these are people that they would never ever meet otherwise. And I think over time, the recruitment pool that comes to Ferd will be or have a different dimension. It will have something, it will have all the competences that we're looking for, all the skills, but there will be jewels in there, there will be diamonds in the rough there that have some notion of what we are and what we're trying to do also in the broader context of social entrepreneurs. And they are the people that we want. And I think we are gaining some credibility because we are actually delivering on the promises. We're actually delivering on the results, not that we promise, but that the social entrepreneurs promise. And this credibility that they achieve is coming back on us. And what do I get? I also get to meet these people. And actually, I'm doing much too many of exactly talks like this. Yes, because the problem is that there's hardly any, there's a lot of social entrepreneurs and people who want to become social entrepreneurs or engage, but the people we're actually trying to reach, they're not here. I hope I will see more of them, in a future conference. But that is part of the challenge that we're actually spending, or I'm spending too much time trying to get other people engaged and not enough time with the people that we want to reach. And I do get a kick out of it. I'm telling my employees and everybody else I'm spending 30% of my time, which of course is a complete lie because I'm spending much more, but it makes me feel that the proportion is reasonably according to the business. just one example. Some of you listened to Hanne yesterday. When we get people engaged here, we don't, ask for anybody to get engaged. This guy, Ole Petter, he is the head of R&D at Elopak. So it's not like some anybody who raises his or her hand. He's the head of R&D. He's the chairman of Forskerfabrikken. And what are they doing? Well, for a popular television program, they're making a carton for Newton. And this is a summer school program. And if you ever went to a summer school program, you probably don't have a beautiful house on the ocean, by the ocean. These are often people who do not attend or go to a big summer cabin. So I have to get a picture where they're actually making something, but some of the pictures or photos from this camp looks like the United Nations. And they're from downtown or the eastern side of Oslo, many of them. And, well, do we make an impact? This shouldn't be credited to us. This is, in this case, Hanne and her team's efforts that paid off. But could it have made it without us? No. I don't think so. They could probably have made it later, 3-4 years down the road. But time is of the essence. And we're going to kick this punk up to 5,000 by next year or something like that, Hanne? That's the goal. But we do need some help with that. And we also have a conference, by the way, so I'm doing a little commercial here, which is a little bit more geared towards practicality. So please join me or us there. But if you want to get engaged and you're really wondering, the easiest way to get engaged is to take one of the existing social entrepreneurs and engage with them. So, for instance, Forskerfabrikken, if it doesn't exist in your town, just make it happen. Go to the school, to the commune, or simply call Hanne and say, I'll pay for setting up a course. And it's very cheap, and the payoff is tremendous. I expect, actually I hope, how shall I put it? Yes, I expect from Hanne that she will have one of her kids. I will have a Lady Nobel Prize winner in chemistry by the time I catch my last fish, something like that. So, and you can make it happen. It's not as difficult as it looks. And for business people, it's much easier here than in many other organizations. And I think your employees will be insecure, but they will love it. Just make sure that you have everybody on board. Thank you.